What's up, Madden fans? This is your boy Mad Scientist 06, EA Sports Game Changer, HardcoreGamers.com, here to give you the inside scoop on Madden NFL 25 Connected Careers Position Changes. I want to talk about what changes you can make, when you can make them, and what you need to be on the lookout for. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so there are three stages basically where you can make position changes. The way I look at it. One is before you actually start the CFM. So you modify a custom roster and then you load the roster into the CFM. That's one stage. The next stage is during preseason and the regular season. You can also make changes, but they are somewhat limited. And then the last stage is off season. Now the off season is defined as anything after the Super Bowl and before the preseason. So there are 9 stages during the off season. During that time you re-sign players, hire staff, sign free agents, finish up your scouting, participate in the draft, and sign rookies. Well, rookies are automatically signed, but you know what I mean. Alright, so let me talk about each one of the stages. Before you start, you can modify a roster, then use it to load into the CFM. The advantages of using this approach is that you can edit almost everything, including names, ratings, and traits. However, there are some limitations. You can't edit a player's contract, appearance, height, weight, age, those type of things. Also note, if you're going to modify a roster, you can also do transactions if you need to. So that means you can release players, trade them, sign free agents. At this point, you can also create players. Just get the roster exactly like you want it, which is very cool. Now, in terms of position changes, you can change every single position at this point. However, each change is normally associated with a ratings hit of some sort. Now, whether that be OVR, awareness, speed, acceleration, or another attribute. It all varies by player. I mean, just keep in mind, if you change your quarterback to a punter, this is more than likely not going to work out well in terms of rating and performance. And also note, the roster you use must be loaded into memory. So you can't go into CFM and select a file to upload. The CFM will automatically upload the active roster that's currently loaded. So just make sure before you start everything, once you finish your roster changes and name that roster, make sure it's loaded into memory before you import into the CFM. During the preseason and regular season, editing is very limited. You can't edit a player's face, you can never do that, or appearances, but you can edit things like equipment, jersey numbers, hands, and QB styles. The position changes you can make at this point are limited to what I call symmetrical positions. Now I'm sure that's not the correct term, but changes like right tackle to left tackle, right outside linebacker to left outside linebacker, things of that nature. I have a table, let's take a look at it. So just to explain the table, I have 3 columns actually, and I list the positions going down: quarterback, halfback, fullback, and then starting off the middle column with center, right guard, right tackle, and then the final column starting in middle linebacker, right outside linebacker. So you can see that there are a lot of positions that you can't even change at all. And the ones you can change, when I say symmetrical, I mean on the other side of the line, like left tackle to right tackle, free safety to strong safety, and also kicker to punter. Now, the off season in the CFM is where you can make the most changes that are allowed. You still can't edit player names, player faces, appearances, and ratings, but you can edit, in addition to equipment, jersey numbers, hands, quarterback styles. You can also edit the rookies, because the draft is actually in stage 8. So when you move to stage 9, you still have one stage where you can actually make changes to your rookies, which is real crazy good. The commissioner can edit all teams. So everything that we mentioned at every stage, the commissioner can go and edit not only his or her team, but every team in the league. Just something to keep in mind. Alright, let's look at position changes in the off season. There are a lot more options, as you can see. Quarterback, you can change to running back, fullback, wide receiver, and tight end. Running back, you can change to fullback or wide receiver. Fullback, you can change to tight end or running back. Wide receiver, however, yes, this is correct. You cannot change to anything. So if you have a wide receiver, he's going to stay a wide receiver. Tight ends, you can change to fullback, wide receiver. The cool thing about the O-line is that any position in the O-line can be changed to any other position. So if you're a center, you can change to left tackle, left guard, right tackle. They're pretty much interchangeable, which is very cool. Left end, right end, you can change to the other end. You can also change the defensive tackle, which is cool, but also left outside linebacker and right outside linebacker for the left end. And you can basically do the same thing for the right end, just switch the left end position. That's also very cool. Defensive tackle, you can change to left end or right end. Linebackers are also very cool. So the left outside linebacker, you can go to middle linebacker, right outside linebacker, left end, right end. Middle linebacker, you can only go to left outside linebacker or right outside linebacker. Right outside linebacker, you can go to the left, you can go to the middle, or you can go to the left or right end, which is very cool. Some people like to do that. Cornerback, you can move from cornerback to free safety or strong safety. Free safety, you can go strong safety cornerback. Strong safety, you can go free safety cornerback. Alright, so let's talk about this because some of this is a little tricky, right? If you take a running back and you change them to wide receiver, you can't go back the other way. Now you're locked in because a wide receiver can't change to anything else. This isn't a round trip. This is a one-way trip, okay? So keep that in mind if you're playing around. Once you make that change and save it, that's it. You can't go back. The game doesn't remember that. So study this chart very carefully when you make your changes. Some things, maybe there's some workarounds too. So if you take a defensive tackle, convert him to a left end, then the left end can actually be changed to a right end, left outside linebacker, or right outside linebacker. Once again, it's a one-way trip. Once you move him, then you can do everything that you can do at that position. So some interesting things probably that you can work out if you kind of move things around. But note, once you change your quarterback, that's it. It's not going back. You're going to get locked in and that's it. For the first iteration of this is very cool. But I know some of you guys have issues with not being able to convert a wide receiver to anything, especially to a tight end, maybe even to a running back or cornerback. I know that. Hopefully we can get it in next year. Do me a favor and hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel to get more updates and information, tasty tidbits. Tell your friends. Smash I'm out.